Welcome, we're live. Welcome to Random Dialogues 35. It's June, 24th of June. It's one of the hottest days of the year, so it's a very sweaty Random Dialogues, this one. We've got joined by 6 fabulous speakers. We're here for about an hour. We'll have 3 speakers, Q&A, then another 3 speakers. And I just want to say before I begin, thank you. Vanessa and I had a quick catch up yesterday, and Vanessa's been tuning in and listening to Random Dialogues on YouTube. So it's streamed onto Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And you can just sort of plug and play and you can listen away. So this is the 35th. I captured them from about Random Dialogues sort of 20 when I got organised. So yeah, do, if you're watching, do enjoy the other Random Dialogues that have been shared across the years. So I'm going to invite the speakers just to say the name of their talk, please. Rob, please can you share yours?
Yeah, it's empathy and leadership.
Thank you. Liz?
It's youth mentoring.
Vanessa?
Flexible volunteering.
Warren?
The future performance is human.
Kat?
Taking action to help climate and nature.
Thank you. And Martin?
A year of saying yes.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you, everybody. Right, so I'm going to invite Rob to the stage. I'm going to put Rob into single layout for 6 minutes. Good luck, Rob. I'm going to ask everyone else to mute. I'm just going to make sure I can find where you are. There you go. And I'm just going to pop your banner up. Okay, enjoy. Over to you, Rob. Good luck.
Excellent. Thanks, Jane, and good evening, everyone. I had a slightly embarrassing leadership lesson recently, and it wasn't in a boardroom. It wasn't in a senior leadership team meeting. It happened on the school run, which, if you've ever done the school run, you'll know it's basically a live experiment into how to regulate your emotions. On the day, my son wasn't quite ready. His shoes had disappeared. Breakfast was still on the table, half eaten. And I was late, and I just knew I was going to be late for my first meeting of the day at 9. We finally get out of the house, we drive into school, and then suddenly, out of a side road, someone pulls out and cuts me up. No signal, no apology, just straight in front of me. And instantly, my brain did what brains are very good at doing. It created a story. This guy's an idiot. How rude are they? What gives them the right to cut in front of me? And I was just about to share some of this wisdom out loud when I looked in the rearview mirror, and I remembered there was a small 7-year-old boy in the back of the car that I'm apparently meant to be modeling adult behavior in front of. So I paused and I asked myself a different question. What if this person in front of me is just like me? What if their morning has been absolute chaos? What if they're just trying to hold their own life together for the next 10 minutes, just like me? And the strange thing was, the anger disappeared. Not because their driving suddenly became acceptable, it absolutely didn't, but because the story changed. And I think this happens in work all the time. Someone misses a deadline, someone pushes back on our requests, they challenge us, they avoid us, they copy the wrong person into an email, or they use the absolutely horrible phrase, "as per my last email." And before we know it, we're not responding to the person anymore. We're responding to the story we have created about them. And that's where empathy starts for me. Not as a soft skills concept, not as being nice for the sake of being nice, but as the ability to pause long enough to ask, what might be going on here that I can't yet see? Because after my 20-odd years in professional services, delivering global HR transformation and digital change programs, one thing has become very clear to me. Most business problems are human problems at the root. They may show up in missed deadlines or poor performance, disengagement, and sometimes conflict, but underneath the surface They're usually about trust, transparency, and the quality of conversations people are having. And this is the space where I do most of my work. I work with leaders and leadership teams who want high performance, but they don't want to create it through fear and exhaustion or constant pressure. Because pressure gets results for a while, fear can move people, but it doesn't make them think better. It doesn't make them braver, and it doesn't make them more creative. What it creates is survival mode. And when people are in survival mode, their world gets very small. It becomes my deadline, my reputation, my workload, my job, my risk. And when everyone in a team is thinking like that, collaboration becomes very difficult. People protect themselves, they avoid the awkward conversations, and they wait to see what the most senior person thinks before they say what they really think. And that's why I talk about something I call bulletproof empathy. It's not a passive empathy, it's an empathy strong enough to survive the real world. The version where you can care about someone and still hold them accountable. And I think this is where leadership becomes most effective. The leaders who create real performance understand that people don't just respond to targets, they respond to clarity, trust, and a sense that the work they're doing actually matters. And that's where leadership becomes more than managing tasks. It becomes the work of making values visible through decisions, giving purpose to people's effort, and creating enough transparency for the team to keep moving even when the path ahead is uncertain. And when that starts to happen, performance changes. So for me, empathy and leadership is not about becoming softer, it's about becoming more accurate, more human, more able to see what is really happening before it becomes a bigger problem. And if there's one thing I'll leave you with today, it's this. The future of work won't be solved just by better technology, better processes, or better strategy. Those things absolutely matter, but they only work when the humans inside the organization can trust each other enough to speak honestly, challenge respectfully, and keep adapting. That's the type of change I'm passionate about, because high performance should not come at the cost of the people creating it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Rob. Well done. Liz, are you ready to take the stage?
I am ready. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to just prep it. Okay, over to Liz, ready to mute. Off you go. Good luck. Enjoy.
Thanks, Jane. Good evening, everyone. It's really great to be here with you all. So this evening, I'm going to be talking about the power of mentoring, and specifically my experience of the success of mentoring for young people who are facing challenges or barriers, and how transformative it can be, not only for the mentee, but actually also for the mentor as well. So for too many young people, an unfair start in life can mean that they lose their way for the rest of their life. And really no young person should be held back by their circumstances. And right now, all across the UK, there are young people facing challenges or instabilities without a reliable, trusted adult in their life that they can talk to, someone that is consistently there for them and in their corner. You may well have heard the very worrying recent news headlines that more than 1 million young people are now NEET in the UK, and that stands for not in employment, education or training, and the stark warning of a lost generation. So it's really, really worrying, and this number stands at its highest level for 12 years. So I truly believe in the transformative potential of mentorship, and that every single connection can really change a life. So I believe that every young person deserves somebody to help them to find their way. So what happens is when a young person is paired with a consistent, trusted adult mentor, something really powerful happens. That relationship becomes a catalyst, really, and helps to build that young person's motivation, commitment, resilience, things like that. And it helps that young person to see themselves and hopefully their future differently. And through mentoring, they begin to believe that change is possible. It's not only possible, but it's really within their reach. So a mentor can be somebody that listens without judgment, believes in their young person, provides encouragement, support, guides them, and really helps to maybe awaken their ambition. So it can also boost their confidence. It can definitely improve academic performance and ultimately lead to a brighter future for that young person. Consistently showing up, being a reliable, caring adult figure that the young person can count on, I really believe it can change a life. I've seen this happen, and I know how impactful it can be. But I also wanted to talk about the impact on volunteering as a mentor, becoming a mentor for a young person, because as well as the transformative impact on the young person, mentoring is also hugely rewarding and impactful for mentors. So I really like to say that, when one person is mentored, 2 lives are in effect changed as a result of this. So as a mentor, I know that there are, and I consistently hear this, there are so many additional benefits that you can expect to get if you're one of these people that decides to become a mentor. So I hear consistently from people that are doing this that they have an improved sense of improved well-being, an improved sense of purpose, and they have better sort of social connection and community connections. But as well as that, it's an opportunity to develop new skills for yourself. So things like active listening, empathy and leadership. And many mentors I've spoken to have told me just how many skills that they've developed that they've then been able to take back into their careers as well. So mentors experience things like increased happiness, lots of physical health benefits as well. And I think the other amazing thing is that you gain a greater understanding of the challenges facing young people today, which is really lovely to hear. So some of the feedback that I've heard from mentors, I was just going to give you a couple of quotes that I've heard. And one mentor said to me, "It's a privilege to be the person you wished you'd had at school, to be her champion and her sounding board," which I really loved. And also, it's amazing to be part of someone's life where there are no expectations, to work on a relationship where the aim is for that young person to shine. So I really love those, those quotes from some mentors. So just to put all of this into some context, I actually work for a charity that is involved in youth mentoring. So this is where I have gained my experience with this. But there are obviously lots of different mentoring organisations out there. We are called MCR Pathways. We cover all of the UK. So we cover Surrey and we cover other parts of the UK as well. And we do this mentoring in schools, further education settings, and out in the local community as well. So we connect young people with a trusted adult mentor, and they provide this consistent guidance to help these young people. And it's just for an hour a week, so it's not a huge ask. And over the last year, we've supported more than 500 young people in Surrey and more than 7,000 young people across the UK. And we are growing all the time. So we're recruiting mentors in the North East, in Scotland, Hertfordshire, and in London. But I think what excites me most every day is honestly the tangible impact that mentoring can have, and that young people really are overcoming some very unique challenges and barriers. And we see incredible turnaround in school attendance, boosts in their well-being, and noticeable drops in school suspensions as well. And it also enables these young people to progress to positive destinations after school, such as apprenticeships or further education. And in fact, we're incredibly proud that 100% of young people who've completed our specific programme in England were not in NEET. So we are really helping to try and bring down some of those figures. So to finish, I'd just like to say that the power of a one-to-one relationship with an adult, trusted adult for a young person is life-changing. An hour a week with us is all it takes, and it really, really can have a transformative impact on a young person. So perhaps you might be interested in becoming a mentor with us or another organisation, or maybe someone you know might be interested. So yeah, just to finish, I'd like to urge you all to consider mentoring a young person in whatever capacity that might be. But of course, if you like what you've heard about our particular mentoring programme, please do reach out to me. And yeah, thank you all for listening.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Liz. Thank you. Well done. Right, Vanessa, are you ready? Here you go. Good luck. We can't hear you. There you go.
Sorry, can you hear me now?
You're good. Yeah, well done. That's it.
Hi, everyone. I want to talk today about why flexible volunteering matters. So when we talk about volunteering, we often imagine something quite formal, like joining a committee or fundraising every week or giving up the same day every week. And for some people, that kind of regular commitment works really well. But for the majority of us, it's just not very realistic to fit around our lifestyles. Recent research shows that only 17% of adults in England volunteered at least once a month in the last year. And interestingly, 53% said they would like to dip in and out of volunteering. So it shows that there's a real gap between the number of people who want to volunteer and the number who actually volunteer. And the most common reason for not volunteering is that people don't want to make an ongoing regular commitment. And that's why I want to put a spotlight on flexible volunteering, because it gives people a way to help when they can without feeling that they are signing up to something that they cannot sustain. And at a time when public services are under pressure and charities are working hard to meet growing needs, making it easier for people to volunteer really matters. So I'll tell you a bit about myself. I volunteer with Care for Guildford, which is a local charity that helps people, mostly the elderly, to get to essential medical appointments like doctors, dentists and hospital appointments. And I first came across Care for Guildford at our local farmers market about 9 years ago when they were looking to recruit more volunteers. The cause immediately resonated with me. My father-in-law lived in Brighton and had a number of health conditions, which meant that he had very regular doctor and hospital appointments. But as my mother-in-law didn't drive and they didn't have any family nearby, they took 1 or 2 buses to most appointments, which involved walking to the bus stop when his mobility wasn't great, and often long waits in the cold in the winter. So even if we'd lived closer, we wouldn't really been able to help due to work commitments. But if they had a service like Care for Guildford, with volunteers offering to drive them to an appointment, wait for them, and then take them back home, it would have made a huge difference. So I signed up to be a volunteer driver because I really like the difference that it makes to people's lives, but I wouldn't have been able to do so if the volunteer opportunities weren't flexible. So I run a business and I've got family commitments, so I knew I couldn't promise the same time every week. And I even couldn't commit to helping every week. And Care for Guildford appealed to me because I could volunteer as and when I had time. Care for Guildford, volunteer drivers use their own cars to give lifts to clients, and the clients make a donation if they can afford to do so. We've got around 500 clients and about 100 volunteers, all living in the local community. So on the surface, that might sound like a low-cost taxi service, but in reality, it's so much more than that. For the person being helped, that lift provides reassurance. It can mean independence. It means not having to cancel an appointment, not having to worry about how to get home afterwards, and not feeling like a burden to family or friends or neighbours. For someone who is older and vulnerable without easy access to transport, a medical appointment can actually become a real source of anxiety. A volunteer driver provides a friendly face, a helping hand, and someone to chat to. And for some of our clients, their Care for Guildford driver may be the only person that they see face to face that week. And that is why it's more than a lift. It's reassurance, it gives them dignity and a connection. But what makes the model work is that volunteers can give as much or as little time as they like. So some choose a particular morning each week, but some maybe do 1 drive a week or just in the school holidays, and others do a couple of drives a month. The choice is entirely theirs. And for volunteers, the system is straightforward. A telephone volunteer books the journeys requested by the clients, and then the details are shared through the group's WhatsApp group. Drivers then choose the journeys that they want to, that work around for them, around their timings, the dates, location. And it's this flexibility that helps us to attract volunteers. And I'm really proud to say that Care for Guildford's amazing team of volunteers have provided around 3,750 lifts to clients over the last 12 months. But of course, as Liz has just said, when we talk about volunteering, we often focus on the benefit to the person receiving help, but the volunteering also benefits the volunteers. According to research, 87% of volunteers reported increased social connection, and 75% said it improved their mental health and well-being. So it's not simply about giving up your time to help someone. Very often it's about getting something back and having a sense of purpose and perspective. That has certainly been my experience. I became involved because I like the idea of doing something helpful in my local community and using different skills to the ones in my day job. And through the opportunity, I've met some amazing people, volunteers and clients, and have developed new skills too, because I chose to become more involved with the charity over time, to the point that I'm now chair of the board of trustees. But that deeper involvement came gradually and just when I wanted it. It began with simply saying yes to one flexible volunteering opportunity. So I've got 3 takeaways. The first is this: just think about volunteering. It doesn't have to be with Care for Guildford, but if you live in Guildford and can help, we desperately need more telephone volunteers and volunteer drivers. So look for opportunities that fit realistically into your life, because a few hours can make a real difference. My second takeaway is for more charities to offer flexible volunteering. This matters because this makes it easier for people to say yes. And when enough people say yes, the impact can be enormous. And my final takeaway is for anyone involved in a community that doesn't have a scheme like Care for Guildford, could you create one? This isn't the kind of charity that needs large-scale fundraising. At the heart, it's about being a good neighbour. It's about local people helping local people. Care for Guildford can share the guidance on the practical side, like the technology, policies and safeguarding, so you can run the service well. But the basic idea is simple: helping someone to get to an essential appointment. And for our clients and volunteers, that is so much more than a lift. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, there's lots of opportunities there. And I do always, is that old saying, isn't it? If you want to get a job done, ask a busy person. And, you know, I think if you're already out there volunteering, you're kind of in that space for different reasons in your life, you know, then you're likely to take on more volunteering. And I'm meeting a lot of people who are looking for volunteers, but I do think it's good to cross-pollinate between organisations. So now we've got a bit of Q&A time. So well done to our first 3 speakers. I'm going to put a new banner up, Q&A time. So if you've been tuning in, welcome. And you're welcome to use the chat facility. We're on multiple channels, so if we don't get back to you now, or you're watching on replay, I will let the speakers know that you've left a comment. And if you have anything you'd like to share now, any questions, please do.
Les.
Hi.
Hiya.
Hello.
With your mentoring, can you set that up in any area, or is it just your area? Like if I wanted to get involved, do you have contacts? For instance, I'm in Oxfordshire. Would you have contacts?
Right. So we're not in Oxfordshire just yet, but we are expanding all the time. So most recently, we've just launched in the northeast. But in the southeast, we're in Surrey, Hertfordshire and London, but not Oxfordshire yet. But yeah, watch this space. Yeah.
Okay, I'll keep in touch. Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah.
Just from our side, from a mentoring point of view, is in your experience, what kind of business leaders are coming into that room to mentor sort of young people, and so they can almost kind of start to lead themselves?
Yeah. So in terms of the type of people that are becoming mentors, you mean? What? Yeah. So we have honestly such a wide mix of people. So we have people that are retired. We have people that are still working. We definitely have leaders, but we have people from all walks of life, all doing all kinds of jobs. We have mature students as well. The only stipulation is that they're over 21, that they have the ability to listen, they're caring and want to make a difference. And then apart from that, we can give all the training that's required. And then we match them to the young person based on things like shared life experience, perhaps career aspirations as well, hobbies, interests, that kind of thing. So yeah, it's a real mix of people that are doing it.
And can you tell if someone's likely to make a good mentor? Do you have like an assessment, or is everybody welcome and they get trained?
Yeah, I mean, everybody is welcome. We do quite an in-depth one-to-one conversation with all of our mentors. And of course, during that conversation, if there were any, red flags or anything that we felt, perhaps this wasn't going to work out, it would be at that point that we would let them know. But honestly, that doesn't happen too often. And most people that put themselves forward are, caring and, want to make a difference. And as I say, we haven't really got a strict criteria of things that we look for. It's just having that ability to listen and being caring at the end of the day. And then we give the training, on top of that they need to become a mentor. Yeah.
Quick one from me for Vanessa. Obviously, all our young adults, they go through DOV in England. What's the program? Well, is there a bridge from obviously doing your gold DOV and obviously the volunteering program that comes with that, in terms of letting them move in, continue that sense of giving and sharing and volunteering?
Well, it's a really good question, because we have actually thought whether we can offer any opportunities to young people. The difficulty for us is our volunteer drivers need a car, and our telephone volunteers have some level of training, but if they were doing this as part of DOV, that I guess it depends if they're at school or whether it would fit in with their school time, and it feels that they might only be able to commit for a short period of time before they then moved on somewhere else. So I guess for us, we are looking at where their opportunities might be, because we definitely want to get more younger people to help. For us, the sweet spot is often people who have just retired because they seem to have a bit more time on their hands. But we are always looking for people who can support us on an ongoing basis. But we could have people who could just help us in the school holidays. So if there were young people who lived in Guildford and came back for the school holidays, then that would be great.
I have another question, one more question before we move to our next speaker. For Rob, actually, I think both Vanessa and Liz's talks, both talked about that importance of listening and those empathy skills. And I guess people tuning in today, hopefully, there's often a common thread with these events. It's interesting. So I guess if everyone, listening today left with just one idea about how to have better conversations and stronger relationships, what might you hope that would be? How might we encourage that more?
I think for me, it is in that kind of pause that I described there. I think we all live in this world. We're all going 100 miles an hour, and sometimes we don't get that opportunity to really pause and really hear the words that people are actually saying. And I think you can learn so much from other people and really grow your own kind of mindset and outlook on life and how you lead and how you do your basic job, just by taking that moment to pause, slow down a bit, and really listen and hear the words that people are saying to you. I think that's, in a very simpler way, is the one thing I'd like people to take away and practice after today. That'd be great.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Right, I'm going to pause now to pass on to Warren. I believe you are next in the lineup, and I'm going to invite Warren to the single stage. I'm going to put your banner up and we'll go on mute. So here you go. Over to you, Warren.
Good evening, everyone. And Jane, thank you once again for this wonderful opportunity to share the mic with a really amazing panel. And I've really it sparked a lot of curiosity and kind of listening so far to kind of the speakers before me. And I'm certainly looking forward to the next guests. So more about me. I've been very fortunate to have spent a lot of time, pretty much over the last 20 or so years, working in the world of sports marketing and sponsorships, and working with athletes and brands. And I want to kind of center tonight's conversation around athletes, because I've always been fascinated by them, and I think all of us are. We put them on pedestals. They become our heroes. They become our idols, and we look up to them. But when you're in a privileged position like I have been, and I can look at them and their performance from behind a curtain, what strikes me more and more is how athletes, they train to actually perform. You think about an Olympian, it's a 4-year training cycle just for them to pretty much go into a 100-meter dash for 10 seconds. You know, the perseverance, the grit, the resilience, the mindset that it takes just to turn up every single day and practice and practice and train and train. Same thing for sports teams. We don't see the training that goes on the pitch. We don't see the analytics, the data, the analysis, the recovery, you know, the strategy conversations. What we actually see is what happens on the field of play, live in front of us or from the comforts of our own homes. And sometimes it's not just about the performance that you see. Well, most of the time, it's these athletes are continually training to get better as teammates, as individuals, and it's finding those little margins where how can I become a better person? How can I become a better human being? How can I become a better mental role model for people around me? And only once that training is completed, then do they perform. And I genuinely wish that the world of business would find that opportunity to look at the world of sport and kind of almost turn that lens on, and how can we bring that performance mindset into the boardroom? Because in business, we are expected to perform every single day. Turn up, know your job, do your job, and crack on. You know, we expected to lead, we expected to navigate, you know, a dynamic, changing business environment at the moment. Work with teams and colleagues, sometimes remotely, sometimes in other sort of global cities. But while we do all that, at the root of it, we are, from a business perspective, we are still expected to perform, to turn up and do our best. But sometimes with little human training, we get trained on the physical skills, but we actually don't get trained on the human capacity and the human skills, these soft skills that is required in kind of the modern workplace now. And that's a fact supported by the World Economic Forum. But interestingly enough, at me saying all that, what people don't realize is they didn't understand, or they didn't realize they have this ability to learn these new skills, to train these new skills, so they can train for these human skills, for these soft skills. And so that's kind of, for me, the tension point in terms of what we see on a field of performance in sports. Why can't we pull it back into the business world and the business environment? We've got this opportunity now to train future leaders, future captains of industry, and help them get what I call mentally fit, you know, through the power of positive intelligence, which is all rooted in neuroscience. But today is not about kind of going into the weeds of neuroscience. More and more, you know, the conversations that I'm hearing and having around boardrooms and in like dining room tables and coffee walks is something similar to what Rob says. Is like there's a lot of anxiety, there's a lot of pressure to perform, and people's heads are full at full capacity. There's a lot of mental noise going on there. They're exhausted. They need a break. They need to kind of pull the handbrake up. They need to get off this treadmill of life. They need a bit of space. And to what Rob was saying, the important thing is here, we need to get comfortable with our own selves. Take a moment to pause. Take a moment to be silent. Take a moment to observe what's really going on inside us and understand these inner voices, these mental patterns that are impacting our performance, well-being, and relationships. And interesting enough, all these people that I'm talking to, you know, are incredibly capable human beings. They've got the skills, they've got the drive, they've got the determination. But it's actually the capability is not the challenge. It's the human capacity to lead yourself with influence and not necessarily authority all the time. To lead others, as Rob was saying, you lead others with empathy, with self-command, with clarity, with curiosity, with creativity. And I think that's more what's needed in the business world now. And when I talk about leaders, we are all leaders, you know, ourselves. I'm not talking about people sitting in C-suite. How can we mentor? How can we guide the next generation? Because they start to mirror behaviors. And if we can change people's behaviors through mental fitness and positive intelligence, I genuinely believe we will be in a much, much, much better place. And if we start to look at that through the world of an athlete, why don't we become our own human athletes? Why don't we start to train ourselves mentally, build the mental capacity, build that positive mindset that's so important? Because once we built it, it's a gift for life, and it actually strengthens our ability to respond to life's challenges with clarity, with self-command, and not being held back by self-doubt, anxiety, blame, fear. And that's our default mode network. That's kind of the left-hand side of our brain where we spend too much time, because that's kind of where we default to all the time. And I think we all understand the benefits of physical fitness, to get stronger, to get healthier, to get fitter. We don't just turn up and run the London Marathon one day. We train, we put the time in, we train and we train. And we haven't been taught to do that for our brains. It's the only muscle that actually trains us back. And I think we all need the skill to be able to train our brain to build our mental fitness and our core mental muscles that will unlock our true potential and our true sort of capabilities, both in work and life and play. And once we start to build that, we then start to strengthen resilience. I'm out of time, Jane.
Yeah, I'm just putting you back in solo. 6 minutes done. Yeah. If you done?
I'm nearly done.
Oh, no.
So what we do is we start to build self-awareness. We stay calm under pressure. We lead ourselves and we lead others with influence. And mental fitness is incredibly trainable. And I think in business, we spend a lot of time upgrading technologies and bringing in AI, bringing in all these other good things, but we spend less time in training the human capacity underneath that. And that's where mental fitness, I think, is a future gift that should be in all businesses moving forward.
Thank you very much.
No worries.
Okay, Kat, are you ready?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me okay?
We can hear you, and
Jolly
I'm
good.
going to put you in solo layout. So yes, over to you, Kat. Let me just, because you're again in the, sorry, because you're in the top square, I now can't, it won't let me go over the thingy. Hang on, if we can't do it, we'll have to.
I can just start talking. I don't mind.
Yeah, start talking and then
I'll crack on.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, hello. Thank you very much for having me tonight. So I'm Kat Reeby, and I'm the project director for Surrey Climate Commission. And Surrey Climate Commission, we're a local community interest company in Surrey. We've been running for about 4 or 5 years, and we are passionate about climate and nature. But what our vision is, we want Surrey to be a county that really cares about people and nature. So we want to have put the well-being of people and planet at heart of everything that we in Surrey do, and also to recognise the interconnectedness between Surrey and the rest of the world. So the kinds of things that the Surrey Climate Commission does is we champion local community organisations, and we've worked with around 300 groups to help them share and learn from each other so they can scale up really positive local action. We help make homes warmer. We are part of the Home Energy Advice team, and I'm going to touch on that in a minute. And we help by giving advice to people about how they can save energy, save money, and be warmer in their homes. We provide leadership, and we provide policy input, and we run campaigns. So we're active on a whole load of areas. But that's kind of just to say who I am and why I'm so passionate. Because today I'm going to talk to you about 10 things that you can do to help climate and nature, and we want to be really practical. So, and it's going to be a rattle through, so hang on to your seat. So first of all, number one, do you know how much you spend on energy in your home? Because lots of people just go through life, they pay by direct debit, they have no idea how much they spend, they have no idea how much they use. You cannot save energy or be in control of your energy bill if you don't really understand it, if you don't know how much you use. So for example, from Ofgem, a typical household has an energy bill of around about £1,640. Now, the energy price cap is set by Ofgem. The price cap is going up. So the cap sets the cap for how much energy companies can charge you per unit of power. It's going up. It's going up by 13%. It has actually gone down before that. So it's not all bad news, but you need to be in control of your energy if you want to save money. Secondly, did you know that electricity per unit costs about 4 times as much as a unit of gas? and that's a kilowatt hour of gas. This is for historical reasons about how energy pricing has been set out. But what it means is you can make a big difference if you can go and find the energy guzzlers in your home. And energy guzzlers are things that use a lot of electricity in particular. So electric immersion heaters, electric ovens, things that have got a high rating, a high wattage, or that get hot is a good indicator. So just switch things off when you're finished with them, and it'll help. In winter, it's going to seem really, really counterintuitive, but in winter, you pay to put heat into your home. You want to keep it in your home. So insulating your home is a really good idea to help keep you warm and keep your energy bills down. And loft insulation, did you know loft insulation should be 270 millimeters deep? That's nearly a foot. That's a lot of insulation. And there's a really good scheme run by Zero Carbon Guildford that can help people get free or reduced price rolls of insulation for topping up their loft. So there's help out there. Insulate your loft. 4, reduce your shower times. If you have lovely long showers, 15-minute shower, if you change that to a 4-minute shower, it's about £100 a year saving. And that's because hot water is literally going down the drain. Number 5, replace your light bulbs that aren't LEDs. So LED light bulbs are one of the most efficient type of lighting available. They're cheap. You can get them in all the major supermarkets. If one of your lights gets hot, it suggests that it's wasting energy. So switching over to LED light bulbs where you can makes a difference. Number 6, dry your clothes outside when you can. So at this time of year, great. You put them outside, they're going to be dry in about a minute and a half. But if in spring and autumn, if you can begin to get your clothes out on the line when it's warm enough, that will make a difference, because you are obviously not having to put your tumble dryer on, saving you energy, but also you're getting the moisture out of your home, because when you dry clothes in home, you get moisture in the house, and that can lead to condensation and damp. Number 7, I said I'd rattle through these. Number 7 is turn off appliances and things when you don't need them. Turn them off at the plug. So TVs, chargers, gaming stations, if you can turn them off at the plug, do, because you know that you're saving energy and you're taking off the standby. The only thing to watch out for is some smart TVs, they save the settings by being and they need to be on standby. But actually, if you can turn it off, turn it off. Right, we're now going to move on to wider environmental things you can do. So we run campaigns at the Commission, but one of them is to try and encourage people to have healthy travel. So try, if you can, to swap one car journey out per week and walk or cycle instead. It's great. You'll probably feel healthier, better, you'll get some fresh air, and you're helping reduce the sort of carbon emissions going into the atmosphere. So getting used to saving energy and swapping a car journey is a great thing to do. And sort of similar, number 9, I think we're on now, is try and change one meal a week away from meat. So see if you can swap out a meat meal for a vegetarian option. Vegetarian food is healthy. It's come a long way. It's delicious. And it can be really fun learning to cook something different. So again, meat diets have a higher carbon content and a higher ethical content than vegetarian diets. And the last thing I'm going to leave you with, and I'm really sorry because I've probably run over, is we're passionate about the environment, you can probably tell. We really want to help people in Surrey save energy, save money, and feel in control of their energy bills, because a lot of people are struggling with the price rises. So you can get a free and impartial home energy visit from the Home Energy Advice team. We are all not-for-profit. We are all impartial. We use trained local community activists to do these home visits. They're a great bunch, and it's free. So please find out more from Zero Carbon Guildford. And that's me.
Well done. You were just over slightly by about 10 seconds.
All right.
Well done. You got it in. Thank you, Kat. And then, I'm on my banners have moved. Right, Martin. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you.
Right, well done. So, thank you for waiting patiently. A year of saying yes. Let's put your banner up. Are you ready to go?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you, Jane. Yeah.
Yes, here you go.
Hi. So basically, my year of saying yes started off with not saying yes at all. It started off, like a lot of guys my age, with a period of depression. Basically, I'd had some changes in my life forced upon me. and I didn't really handle it too well. I held on to it for too long. And in truthfulness, I didn't really have the toolbox to deal with it at that point in my life. So from there, I basically, I remember sitting down with my wife at the computer, and she basically said, make a list of everything good about yourself. And I couldn't do it. I couldn't think of anything. And this went on for weeks, you know. But eventually I got a little bit better. And the first thing I said yes to was becoming a mental health first aider. And this was like a light bulb moment for me. Yeah. So it's like I started to understand the things that were holding me back. And I started to really learn about myself. And what I started to realize was that if your life is a book, like your next chapter is up to you. You can put, you can write whatever you want in your next chapter, you know? So ultimately this is about my year of saying yes. It's not about depression. What this is a real life resurrection, and you're all invited. Yeah. So the next thing I said yes to is I actually went to a diversity, equality and inclusion event at a swanky hotel in London. I sort of blagged a ticket. We all had to get together to do workshops, and the workshop I'd done was having a talk about why men struggle to talk about mental health. And at the end of this sort of workshop, we all had to have a vote, like who was going to go on stage and talk about it, and they voted for me. Now, I'm not a confident public speaker. I don't enjoy it. I still don't. But I went and done it, you know. And despite my nerves, I remember looking out into the audience, and there was all these people from the diversity, equality and inclusion event, like transgender guys, transgender women, people in wheelchairs, and they're all rooting for me, like, go on, Martin, you know. So I'm like, that's connection, right? So saying yes made another connection. The next thing that kind of led on for that was me and a work friend called Sarah Bryant actually set up something at work. We actually got made redundant. We got told a year ago that we were going to lose our jobs. So it was quite a stressful time at work. So we actually took over a disused office and built something called the Happy Hub, which was kind of like a bright place with nice cushions. And people could come in and talk about their problems. We had all sorts of chats. We actually managed to get one lad on a plumbing course. Someone else needed quite serious mental intervention, and we managed to arrange that. So again, connection, you know, changes culture, culture changes community. So that was the next thing. The next thing, actually, a manager at work came to me and asked me to head up quite a major charity initiative, which was called Banbury Breadline Project, which basically, because we had dwindling work, we was allowed to take workers out of work and go and help at a local food bank a couple of times a week. And through that, we built an extension where vulnerable people could go and have coffee, go and sit and chat to each other. Basically, we had the younger guys leading senior managements on projects, and you know, natural leaders step forward. There's one lad particularly called Billy Walker, who I basically noticed how much empathy he had, and I noticed how much he could carry the anxious people. So I connected with him, he connected with them, and basically we was going through this period of saying yes to everything. Then the BBC News got involved. They thought it was a good story. Of course, we said that yes to that. Done a few interviews, the Oxford Mail. We said yes to that. And basically, like in the last year, I mean, I passed 4 exams, which were my first exams that I've passed in school. And I mean, I went to school back in 1987. So, you know, just said yes and done them basically. So I'm very proud of myself. I've actually been shortlisted as well to be trustee on 2 of the big major charities in the country, Mental Health Matters and Campaign Against Living Miserably. So if you look at my kind of journey over the year, like a year ago, I couldn't sit and write one good thing that I could say about myself. And now I'm like helping the community, I'm helping my friends. And it's basically like, if the next chapter of your life is a book, it's up to you to write it. So anyone out there who's going through shit in your lives, like if you're watching this on LinkedIn and you're having a hard time, just hit me up. Yeah, hit me up. We'll have a chat. I'll say yes, and I'll carry you until you can carry yourself. Because at the end of the day, there's nothing to be scared of. You know, just give life a go. So yeah, thank you very much.
Oh, amazing. And that kind of sums up so beautifully the volunteering journey and just getting out there, doing different things. And thank you for sharing that, Martin. And I hope that really does connect on, as you said, if people are watching it, I'll I'll share out, I think hopefully in these posts you're tagged and things so people can find
Yeah,
you.
of course. Thank you.
If you're watching this on repeat and you want to reach out, please do message. I will find Martin for you. So thank you to the last three speakers for your beautiful talks. So would anyone like to ask some questions to Kat, Warren or Martin?
Yeah, I've got for Martin. I mean, look, brilliant inspirational story there, Martin. Thank you. That's kind of it's motivated me to go and do more of what you were saying. I'm curious, like from my perspective, when some things come up, I overthink them. I overthink them, tell myself a million reasons not to do them. Did you find the whole saying yes to it kind of reduce some of the noise around the challenges, why you shouldn't do things? Did it reduce the noise for you in your head?
Yeah, so something that actually helped was I listened to a podcast by Jimmy Carr, and he was saying like he doesn't make 5-year plans, 10-year plans. What he makes is 24-hour plans. So what he kind of plans for is when I'm having dinner tomorrow night, what's going to make me proud of what I've done today? And that kind of inspired me to think like I could just do something good today and I'll tomorrow. So the overthinking is like just do it. Just do it, because like the likelihood is you're going to be rubbish at it, but the next time you're not, So this is like my third time public speaking, but so what? You give it a go, don't you?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'll give it a go.
Give it a go, brother.
I love it.
Was there anything, Martin, that you said no to?
That would be telling. I don't think so.
That's really, really positive, really inspiring.
Thank you. Yeah. Of course, if it's something that's not good for you, you're quite entitled to say no. But it's basically like that old sort of cliche: you regret the things you don't do. So it's kind of like just do it. If you regret it, it's going to be for a short time, isn't it? So just give it a go.
We've just had a comment. Thank you, Carlos Pagni. What wonderful positive messages. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Carlos, for watching.
Thank you, Carlos.
Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah, and I think going back to a year of saying yes, it's, and I know you can say no as well, but it is that pause, isn't it, as well, before we say yes to too many things. It's like, and also questioning. I ran co-facilitated a women's session workshop today, and someone was saying, about saying yes too often to too many things, and it's like just pausing and just asking yourself. I think importantly why you're doing it.
Yeah.
That why question's quite important. I think for people around, yes, good, say yes, get that, and I'm a just doer. I'm a doer, but then you end up just that boundary around too many.
I mean, what I found is like everything you do leads onto something else, and it might not be paying you any money, but it's interesting, and it gives you an interesting life. And there's some people that don't say yes to anything. So I understand your point because you're quite a proactive person, but there's people like just say yes, just do something, and next week you'll be doing something different until you find what you like. But give it a spin, really. Yes,
because you just don't know, do you, until you go.
No.
Thank you. And Warren, questions on on that leadership piece there around I guess could link in with those boundaries and saying yes and no as a what would a tip be to be how could you how could we lead ourselves better? What do you think was another tip we could do to be good self-leaders?
I think it's about listening with intent and turning up with intention, and bring people into the conversation. Don't push them away. Because that, to me, is how we start to lead with influence and not with authority. And I think that to me is such a vital lesson, because in a team environment, if you are a leader and you kind of going, guys, this is the way it's going to be done, you're not empowering those other people around the table. They're just going to just become action orientated and just go into implementation phase and go, well, Johnny wanted it done this way, there we go. But no one learns from that. And I think if you can pull people into the conversation, they feel heard, they feel responsible, and they grow as human beings as well. And then the team collaboration just kind of goes up to the next level and the next level and the next level. And kind of you get that energy and that spirit in the room. which I think so important.
Thank you. And Kat, I'm one of your heat, well, not one of your, but I'm one of the heat champions through the heat team, through Surrey Climate Commission. And that's very empowering because it's a very flexible role that teaches you, it is about like leading yourself to do it, isn't it, Kat? That's kind of creating that kind of almost ambassadorial role from your project.
And absolutely, and I'm always amazed by just how much is happening at a community level, how many people are volunteering, how many people are getting stuck in, they see a problem and they don't wait for someone to tell them what to do, they just get on and do it. And I think, and that's kind of with the Home Energy Advice team, we want to empower people who want to go out and help save people money, particularly when they're struggling and they're vulnerable. We give them the tools to go and do it. And I'm just always amazed by the amazing variety of people that we get as champions, but the commitment that they put in, because they very actively opt in to do this. They want to take part and they give it their all, which is amazing.
And we're not being managed. That's the key thing, isn't it? Where we are kind of we're sort of like...
it's a team, and that's the great thing, even though we collectively try and achieve things, tangible things, we work as a team, we listen, we try and make it fun.
Yeah, and actually, credit to you, Kat, you make that happen as well. Thank you.
Oh, bless. Thank you, dear.
Right. I can't see any more comments from viewers, but has anyone got any more questions for the team here before we wrap up for the hour? Because well done, we have made it to the hour with our 6 speakers and 6 minutes each. And it's just about 2 minutes to go. So well done for sticking it out through this heat. And thank you
guys.
for watching.
Well done, everyone. Really interesting talks. Thank you.
Thank you.
Lovely. Thank you very much.
Well done, all.
There's the opportunity, Jane.
Thank you. And thank you for watching and look forward to Random Dialogues 36 in September. What's a topic, issue or subject that you feel passionate about and may like to share? Please have a look at randomdialogues.com, join the waiting list, get in touch, and look forward to hearing you speak soon. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers, everyone.
Thank you.
Ciao, ciao.
Bye.
Bye.